Welcome to the Telco training, and in today's session we want to understand a little bit more about the internet or the internet protocol. So in today's session we want to provide a high-level understanding of the IP network over which Telco delivers its products and its services. Let's just do a quick recap. This is the diagram that just depicts in high-level view Telco services. We have domain registration and hosting, email and web hosting, internet access, virtual private networks, voice over IP, network solutions, and content services. The major thing to note is that all of these services, every single one of them, is delivered on the basis of the IP network or the internet protocol. Once again, all of this fits into the Telco 4-layer cake, which is the framework which we're using to try to understand the telco network. At the very base, we've got physical infrastructure, which is comprised of fiber, WiMAX, VSAT or Wi-Fi, over which we then build this network that we're going to be talking about today, which is the Internet Protocol Network. Then on top of the network, we then overlay services, which are your voice, video, data, and text. And finally, we push through content and applications such as Skype, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and many others. Let's have a look at the IP network for a moment. Maybe let's start by asking the question, what is a network? Well, a network is a number of devices. They could be computers, tablets, smartphones, printers, and many other things that can go onto a network. And all of these things communicate with one another. So essentially a network is a number of devices that are linked together in some way in order to aid their communication. Now, in order for these devices to communicate together, they need unique addresses, so that messages that are destined for one device don't end up on another device. Each device that communicates on a network needs a unique address. On an IP network, this unique address is called an IP address, and it looks something like this: 192.168.254.2. That's an example of an IP address. Now, no two devices on the same network can have the same IP address. Otherwise, that's what's called an IP conflict. Each device, in order to communicate effectively, must have a unique IP address allocated to it. I would encourage you now to get onto YouTube and have a look at IP addressing. Have a look at what's called public IP addresses versus private IP addresses, because you need to understand a little bit about that, but I'll leave that up to you to go and have a look on the internet. Now, what is the internet? The internet basically is a network of networks. It's many networks joined together via routers that allow traffic or that allow data to flow between the networks. Let's have a look at this video which tells us all about what is bandwidth. Bandwidth is one of those terms that is thrown around quite a bit when people start talking about the internet. So let's have a look at this. It'll help us to understand the concept of bandwidth a little bit better.
If you've ever wondered why your web browsing experience seems to slow down when you view larger files online, like photographs or videos, it deals with your internet connection speed, or bandwidth. Bandwidth might sound like a scary technical term, so here's a simple explanation. This pipe represents how everything you view on the internet gets from your internet service provider to your personal computer. The faster your connection, the larger this pipe is. The balloons represent the pieces of content you wish to view from the internet. They're all different size. Some things on the internet are small enough that they fit through the pipe all at once. They seem to arrive quickly. Others take longer. If they're large enough that they can't fit through all at once, what happens? Well, they don't fail to come through, they actually stretch out, like this. They will fit through, but it will take longer because the pipe is only so big. The larger the piece of content you wish to view, the longer it will take to be pulled through this pipe. It has to stretch out to fit the width of the pipe, hence bandwidth. What happens if you attempt to view several large files simultaneously? they all try to fit through, which stretches all of them out longer. This is why large pieces of content seem to take a while, especially if you try to access many at once. The web works this way for nearly every type of content, but there are a few exceptions. Since videos are one of the largest types of content on the internet, something called streaming was invented to deliver these files more effectively. Streaming makes the video files take this type of shape, allowing them to pass through the pipe smoothly, often leaving room for other things as well. And that's a simple explanation of file size and bandwidth. For more thoughts on explaining technology, visit explaintechnology.wordpress.com.
Now that's a quick explanation of this whole idea of bandwidth, which is so important when we start talking about the internet, and particularly when we start talking about fiber, WiMAX, Wi-Fi, and VSAT. Let's take another look at another video which tries to explain what is the internet.
Mysteries of the internet. You likely use the internet for browsing the web, sending email, or playing online games. But have you ever wondered what the internet actually is? The internet is essentially a vast number of different computers and networks around the world. Every computer connected to the internet has a unique address, similar to your home's postal address. The internet ensures information flowing between different addresses reaches its destination as quickly as possible. Internet addresses are a series of numbers rather than the typical website names such as www.widea.com that you're accustomed to typing into a web browser. However, the internet has a built-in mechanism for translating every website name into its exact address, called an IP address. Your computer isn't likely connected directly to the internet, even if you have a broadband connection at home. Basically, all of your internet traffic, such as instant messaging or web browsing, must be translated into a format that can travel to your local broadband provider over telephone, cable, or other types of lines. Your broadband provider likely has multiple high-speed connections that connect it to the internet. Now let's put the pieces together. Suppose you open up a web browser on your home computer and type in a particular website's name. Your computer first locates its exact address on the internet and then sends information out of your home over your broadband connection, bound for the website's address. When a website responds, it sends data back over the internet to your computer. Amazingly enough, this process usually takes place in under a second, even when a web server is located thousands of miles away. For more information on this topic and many others, please visit www.
Telco, a world of possibilities just became possible.